Are you back on the dating market for the first time in years? Have you just found the red pill and need to learn the basics of sexual attraction and game? Get my mini course, Mastering the Basics of Game. The link is in the description. I'm going to burst a few bubbles in here, but this is a distinction that absolutely needs to be made. A mother is simply a female who gives birth to an offspring. A mom is a woman who gives birth and then puts the needs of her child before hers and raises them properly and to the best of her ability. Mothers generally take the easy way out and are very selfish, but moms do what's necessary no matter how difficult in any and all situations and don't have a selfish bone in their bodies when it comes to their kids. Simply put, mothers are bad moms and moms are good moms. Now, on the birth certificate, it says mother and father, meaning the biological mother and the biological father. When people say the word mother, what gets lost in translation is the biological connotation of the word. We automatically assume that if a woman is a mother, then she must be a mom. This is false. Now, some people might say, well, Donovan, there's no difference between a mother and a mom. They're the same thing. And those people would be wrong. It's easy to become a mother, guys. Just have unprotected sex, and if you happen to be fertile and ovulating, you get pregnant. The real work begins after you have the kid, and that's what separates the moms from the mothers. Being a good mom is much more difficult than actual childbirth, and this is why there are far more mothers than actual moms, which of course, again, are good moms. You see, guys, childbirth itself isn't enough of a deterrent to keep a woman from having unprotected sex. Think about it. If the act of childbirth were really that arduous, if the act of childbirth were really that harrowing and painful, women wouldn't be so sexually irresponsible. But being a mom is hard, and this is why women look for every excuse in the world to avoid having the kid. Remember, women do what's easy and they avoid what's hard. This again is the reason why women get pregnant all the time but are rarely good moms. When we hear and see things involving childbirth, we attach this moniker to it called the miracle of childbirth, right? We've all heard that before. What that does is that it tricks us into thinking that mothers and moms are the same thing. We see commercials with beautiful, inspirational music in the background. We see the nurse gently handing the newborn to the mother who's overcome with emotion as she meets her child for the first time. And of course, we see the proud father looking on. The whole scene is this rosy image of what childbirth is like. When we see stuff like this, the human mind envisions the most elegant form of conception. We visualize the husband and the wife slowly making sweet love in missionary position, looking into each other's eyes as if they know that this is the very moment, this is the very night that they will conceive. We imagine this rosy little scene, and we assume that the wife will be a good mom and that the husband will be a good dad and everything will be all right. But pregnancies don't happen this way, guys. Most of us are conceived through hard, rough sex. The father is banging her doggy style, pulling her hair, smacking her ass and calling her names, while the mother is moaning and groaning like a porn star, begging him to pound her harder. Right? He shoots his load in her, they smoke a cigarette or whatever post-sexual activities they normally do, and neither of them have any idea that he just got her pregnant. Guys, this is how most pregnancies happen. It is far from this rosy, sweet, lovemaking session that we've all been raised to believe. In either case, gentlemen, being a mother, becoming a mother is the easy part. Guys, there is nothing heroic or difficult or arduous about getting raw dogged, then pumped full of painkillers and popping out a kid. I don't care what anybody says. But childbirth has been exalted and pedestalized to the masses as if it's some momentous feat of valor and strife. This is one of the many reasons why most mothers in America are terrible moms. They essentially ride the coattails of the 17 hours of labor and epidural-inspired childbirth throughout the kid's childhood. This is what happens, guys. They think that going through 9 months of pregnancy and having a kid is all they need to get all the accolades of being a mom, and they do, regardless of whether or not she's actually a good mom. But here's the rub. Giving birth does not make a female a mom. It makes her a mother at that point and nothing more. She hasn't proven anything yet. And unfortunately for most American children, most American mothers are not interested in being good moms. Moms separate themselves from mothers in 4 different categories. Now, there are many more than 4, but the 4 I'm going to point out today are some of the most important. Those categories are discipline, attention-seeking behavior, activities, and dating. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's talk about discipline first. Let's talk about the mothers first. Mothers don't normally discipline their children as they should. It's easy to let them get away with things because her kids like her. They like her all the time, which is why they're easy on them in the first place. But mothers go easy on their kids for very selfish reasons. And and one of the main reasons is that they don't want to feel like their children hate them. They don't want to deal with the crying. They don't want to deal with the screaming. They don't want to deal with the fit throwing. Mothers do not subject themselves to the difficulties of motherhood that often. They just don't do it. A mom, on the other hand, consistently does the difficult tasks like disciplining her children. A mom will endure the crying. A mom will endure the screaming. She'll tolerate the fit throwing. A mom is willing to pay the price to do the right thing for her kids because, again, she is putting the needs of her children before her own. She's willing to take the arrows in the short term to help build and mold her children into good and decent human beings in the long term. Let's go to attention-seeking behavior. Let's start with the mothers. A mother, quite simply, uses her children to bring attention to herself, not her children. Yes, she'll post pictures of her kids on social media, but she's checking the likes every 5 minutes, and if she gets 100, she's not saying, hey, look, Junior, your picture got 100 likes. No. She's not even thinking about Junior when she refreshes that page. She's only thinking of herself. Okay? Mothers also like to give their kids unique names spelled in unique ways, like Jaden, spelled Jaedyn. Austin, spelled Ostyn. And I swear to God, guys, I've seen this before. Jennifer, GynnYphur. Yes, gentlemen, I have seen this with my own eyes. They don't do this for the kids. They do this so that other people can pay more attention to them. This is why they do it. Let's take a look at activities. Let's take a look at the mothers. This is where they lower themselves on the totem pole in terms of good moms. A mother takes Junior to soccer practice and his game and lets everyone know about it on social media. Every picture she takes of him to show everyone how handsome he is in his uniform, right? Every picture she takes is to make sure that everyone knows how pretty her son is. Again, her son is a reflection of her, right? But the mother is also in the picture with her hair done, with her full makeup, wearing a shirt that shows cleavage to show everyone that she's a hot mom who is also a good mom. But if you ask her how Junior played that day, she wouldn't know because she spent half the time on her phone taking selfies and texted the 2 dudes that she's sleeping with in hopes that one of them is free later. Sure, she may have gotten a few seconds of footage of her actual son playing the actual game, but the camera turns right back to her so she can tell everyone on her Facebook page that, OMG, being a mom is the toughest job I've ever loved. Then she'll turn her attention right back to her phone to see if Kevin and Sales responded about their date tonight and if he liked her picture. A mom, on the other hand, will take her kid to practice and games and actually pay attention to him. She'll make sure that he has his post-game snack. She'll cheer him on. She'll encourage him if he screws up. Unlike the mother, the mom could actually tell you everything he did on the field from start to finish. And when she finally digs her phone out of the bottom of her purse, she'll take a picture and post it on social media because she too is proud of him and is entitled to show him off. But she is nowhere to be found in any of those photos. And if she is, the kid takes up most of the screen because the kid is the priority. Let's take a look at the last category, which is dating. Guys, simply put, mothers regularly put men before their kids. A mother would drop her kids off with whoever was available so she can go and get banged out by whoever swiped right on Tinder earlier that day. If she can't find a sitter, she'll let a man neither she nor her children knows into her home so she can get a freak on while the kids are asleep in the other room. She also brings random men around her children all the time, regardless of how long she's been sleeping with him, regardless of whether she really knows him or not. Never mind the fact that her kids can hear what's going on in the bedroom. Never mind the fact that her kids are confused as to why mom has a different man around them every week. A mother simply says to herself, you know what? They don't know what sex is. They'll be all right. Or they'll get over it. A mom, on the other hand, is very careful with whom she dates, and is especially careful about bringing men around her children. She understands that being selfish and irresponsible in this way will have long-term negative effects on her kids and will cause them to resent her later on. I speak from personal experience because I was one of those kids. A mom knows that in order to be a mom, sometimes she has to sacrifice her need for male attention and validation. God forbid. The bottom line here, guys, is that any horny woman with a few eggs to drop can open her legs and take a man's load, right? That's the easy part, which again is why most women have kids. But it takes a woman who is dedicated to her children, puts their needs before her needs, and does what is absolutely necessary to raise them properly, regardless of how difficult it may be.